I don't think the kanji came out. That's weird. Oh, I did. Come on. Oh. Good morning. Good afternoon. Sorry, we're so late today. It's my fault. I was just running a tad bit late. My shopping went a little bit over. But if you want, please feel free inside the chat room, wherever the chat room is for you, to share where you're from and who you are if you're watching. Please feel free to do that. So before we begin the service today, today's our Mitama Matsuri, or our spring memorial service. This is something that we do twice a year, one in the springtime, one in the fall. And this is when, for not all churches, but for some churches, where we get a chance to remember all of our ancestors. In fact, this is probably the most well-attended service at most Gokyo churches. Compared to Godaisai, Mitama Matsuri seems to have more attendance. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. To make sure next to you, you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. And when we move over from the Kami-sama side to the Mitama-sama side, and I start reciting the names of those who are departed, family members, friends, past believers and ministers, I want you to, see if you can count how many, because I didn't count this time. Typically I would have counted, but I didn't count this time, so sorry about that. But this time, just kind of count. Because I used to do that a lot at at the Honolulu church, and I would do that because there were like close to 700 names that Reverend Koichi would call out. And I always wanted to know how many more people were added. And then secondly, to write down the names, when you hear a name that you can recall, to write down that person's name. And just take a moment to think about that person, because I think it's really important. I think that's one of the most beautiful aspects of this service, is that we get to recall and be in the same spaces with that particular person, even though it's for just a moment in time. So with that, I'd like to begin today's service. Chido haire, 4 sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 2 for the mediation prayer. Mediation prayer. Let us seek the sacred mediation of Ikigami Honko Daijin sincerely and wholeheartedly each and every day. May we receive the mediation anew with all our hearts and souls on this day, this very moment. Ikigami Honko Daijin Sama. Ikigami Honko Daijin Sama. Ikigami Honko Daijin Sama. Ikigami Honko Daijin Sama. Purification prayer. Through the way of mediation, may our sincere apologies be acceptable to you, our divine parent. We acknowledge our mistakes and misunderstandings, arrogance and ignorance of your divine favor. We apologize for all our shortcomings and irreverences from past generations. Guide us to amend our way of living, reflect your divine will with a pure, joyful, and loving heart, always one with you. So, Kate, please bow your heads in prayer. 天幕も賢き、これの根高教ウィッティアローセル教会にお集まりうちこら、今しも尊き、限りなき天地に道ち渡らせられ、我が親神様の前に、根高教ウィッティアローセル教会長、井川教師の代わりに、根高教教師高橋先生。包みや参り、かしこみも魔を咲く。On this warm yet beautiful April afternoon, here at the March afternoon, here at the Congo Church of Whittier-Hill, your beloved children have gathered together to share our love, sincerity, and appreciation to you, the blessings, favors, and interventions we receive daily. Thank you very much for the favors you have showered upon each of the Ujiko of the Whittier-Hill Church. Many of us have continued to receive your ukage from our jobs, health, and the greatest ukage of all, life. Kami-sama, please help us to keep unconditional love and compassion for all within our hearts, especially with what has been occurring in this world. Please use us to make an impact, big or small, on our communities, cities, counties, and countries. We pray that the current economic and world situation improves to enable all of us to have a happy and stable life. Please provide us the courage and faith to overcome current and future hardships in our lives. We pray for the victims of tragedies, natural and human-made disasters to recuperate materially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Please allow the Whittier-Hill Church to continue to be an upstanding and outstanding light, not just in Whittier, but also Los Angeles County. Allow us to continue to be wonderful representatives of Kami-sama, Konko-sama, Konko-kyo, and Keisei. As we continue working to achieve our goals in our individual lives, whether it be for our occupation, studies, relationships, and or personal growth, help us to remember to enjoy the blessings we're receiving every day. And we ask for your protection and guidance with every step we take. Please give us the strength to move forward in all aspects of our lives. Help us to live a Kami-centered life as we are all allowed to live in the universe through your grace. This afternoon, we, your beloved children, have gathered today for the annual Spring Memorial Ceremony, where we offer our hearts of love, appreciation, and sincerity to the departed. I ask that with each family name, individual name, as well as the name of a church or other person related or not related to this church, we remember and reflect on how those individuals have impacted our lives. As this prayer comes to an end, we will be moving over to the Mitama altar, or the altar for the deceased, to begin the autumn memorial ceremony. With hearts as one, we shall give appreciation to those who have come before us, honor and appreciate the foundation of our lives and faith. We pray that the blessings and favor of today's service is granted and received by all here today and those who could not be with us. Me ke aloha pumekana, mahalo anu ye, our beloved Ikiami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kana no Kami. Now, please raise your heads. Chido Tomoni Haide, 4 sincere claps along with the head officiant. So as this is the month of March, and we'd like to honor those who were born in this month of March, we have a boy who just turned 50 years old a couple days ago. So we're going to have James Ivy offer come up. Please open your prayer books to page 7 for the Adoration Prayer. We lift our eyes in awe toward heaven soaring above. We lift our eyes in awe toward heaven soaring above. We bow our heads in prayer toward earth rich and deep, living amid such gifts of Kami's great giving. How happy and grateful we are. The mediation of Ikigami Hongo Daiji does not stop for a single day. The protection of the Divine Parent embraces all far and wide. The blessings of Kami flow without limit through all generations. The ways of Kami are mysterious and wondrous beyond our understanding. Day by day, every day, earnestly and reverently, we praise the virtues of Kami. We honor the power of Kami. Chido Haide, 4 sincere claps. Chido Haide, 4 sincere claps. Please open your prayer books to page 11 for prayer to the departed souls. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you were given the gift of life in this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to your span of years. You will be remembered eternally, your lives retold from generation to generation, honored as the foundation of our society and the roots of our families. We revere you as the ancestral spirits of our homes, our own divine spirits. We beseech you, stand by us, each and every one. Receive the favor of Kami, and help us to fulfill our tasks as people without failing. Protect us, guide us, enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith, that we hand it down to old generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, enrich us. 主導敬礼 Please bow your heads in prayer. 教神道をはじめ、これの根高教ウィッティアローセル教会に、深淵ある家の御霊の神たち、関係教会、関係にあるご霊人に、根高と教師たかして。With much love, sincerity, and respect, I call out your names. We offer our hearts of appreciation to the spirits honored at the altar of the deceased at Headquarters Worship Hall, Osaka Church, Namba Church, Takaoka Church, Kobe Church, Himeji Church, Fukuzaki Church, Magari Church, the Whittier-Hill House Church, the Konko family, Kandori family, 厚婚礼申し上げます。Kandori Juhei, Kimi no Mitama no Kami, Kandori Shimo no Hime no Mitama no Kami, Konko Daijin's wife, 金光とせ一子王は来る姫の御霊の神。The second 金光様、金光神さゆきの君の御霊の神。The second 金光様's wife、金光今日姫の御霊の神。Third 金光様、金光せすたね君の御霊の神。Third 金光様's wife、金光菊よ姫の御霊の神。The third 金光様's son、金光神聖牛の御霊の神。The fourth 金光様、金光鏡太郎の君の御霊の神。The fourth 金光様's wife、金光田穂姫の御霊の神。And the fifth 金光様's son、金光秋信大井敦子の御霊の神。The 福田 family、畑 family、川上 family、本堂 family、松井 family、佐藤 family、白上 family、杉原 family、高橋 family、武部 family、牛尾 family、厚婚礼申し上げます。金光教芸美教会初代 founding minister of the 芸美 church 佐藤則義の御霊の神 his wife 佐藤真心高照姫の御霊の神 the founding minister of the 金光 church of 六条院高橋富江姫の御霊の神 founding minister of the 大阪 church 白亀宮広真道分けの御事の御霊の神 the second head minister of the 大阪 church白神道置いや高根の君の御霊の神。The founding minister of the Namba Church、本土逸垣藤森秋高の君の御霊の神。His wife、本土梅馬市真心玉つゆ姫の御霊の神。The founding minister of the Kobe Church、杉原勲の御霊の神。The founding minister of the 福崎 Church、牛尾ひろみ道分真柱牛の御霊の神。The second head minister of the Fukuzaki Church, Ushio Koharu Teru Tamamichi Mori Hime no Mitama no Kami. The Konko Church of Magari, Nakawashi Juntaro Yahiro Teru Mamichi Wake no Ushi no Mitama no Kami. Nakawashi Yoshi no Magokoro Yoshitae no Otoji no Mitama no Kami. The founding minister of the Tsurugaoka Church, 川上正夫道分真柱牛の御霊の神。His wife、川上正夫水玉道立姫の御霊の神。The founding minister of the 東京 Church、畑徳三郎東の道分牛の御霊の神。The second head minister、畑はじめ牛の御霊の神。The third head minister、畑教師牛の御霊の神。The third head minister's wife、畑久美子姫の御霊の神。The fifth head minister of the 日本橋 Church、畑康牛の御霊の神。 The founding minister of the San Francisco Church, 福田義明君の御霊の神。Second head minister, 福田信子姫の御霊の神。Third head minister, 松井文雄牛の御霊の神。And his wife, 松井文子姫の御霊の神。引川ファミリー、松本ファミリー、佐伯ファミリー、田中ファミリー、怒りファミリー、初婚年申し上げ。引川牧雄、赤徳万人導き牛の御霊の神。引川鹿へ赤徳万人導き姫の御霊の神。引川鎮子の御霊の神。サンドラ初子清水怒りの御霊の神。テッド東子怒りの御霊の神。井川ファミリー、藤本ファミリー、初婚年。井川五郎時和根牛の御霊の神。井川久代綾音姫の御霊の神。井川千代子玉つゆ枠語の御霊の神。井川咲子つゆか枠語の御霊の神。井川さぬよとさぬよ元家いらつめの御霊の神。井川豊道のり五教牛の御霊の神。井川雅子照和姫の御霊の神。井川澄子の御霊の神。井川ケネフ広志の御霊の神。オフェロファミリー、アイビーファミリー、ノーマンファミリー、ウィリアムスファミリー、サンチェスファミリー、ランデロスファミリー、クエイリーファミリー、フォンファミリー、ピンファミリー。エンディーク・サンチェスの御霊の神。レスリー・ノーマンの御霊の神。カトリン・ウィリアムズの御霊の神。ミルドレッド・フォンの御霊の神。レイメン・フォンの御霊の神。リンダ・フォンの御霊の神。太田ファミリー、長井ファミリー、井上ファミリー、山本ファミリー。太田淳介の御霊の神。太田花の御霊の神。太田大吉の御霊の神。太田勝田の御霊の神。太田貢ぎ牛の御霊の神。太田竹の土地の御霊の神。太田実の御霊の神。太田義恵の御霊の神。山本善吉馬氏正義彦の御霊の神。We offer our hearts of appreciation to the spirits honored at the altars of the deceased at the Honolulu Church, Wahiwa Church, Hilo Church, Airaku Church, Tamamizu Church, Hongo Church, Koto Church, Hamada Church, Saga Church, Sapporo South Church, Saidaiji Church, Shiba Church, Amagi Church, Tengachaya Church, and Marifu Church. Kodama family, Takashi family, Yano family, Nishida family, Nagai family, Miura family, Sato family, Oishi family, Nishimura family, Takashi family, Kobayashi family, Yasutake family, Shirai family, Oba family, Okuno family, Otsubo family, Nishikawa family, Kitaka family, Shimizu family, and Yukawa family. 発音で申し上げます。Reverend Masayuki Kodama, Reverend Kikoe Kodama, Reverend Iku Shirai, Reverend Haruko Takahashi, Reverend Makio Nagai, Reverend Denzo Nishimura, Reverend Natsuo Nishimura, Reverend Wataru Kobayashi, Reverend Matsuhei Katsura, Reverend Ryuemon Kitaka, Reverend Shoichi Okuno, Reverend Soichi Otsubo, Reverend Katsuhiko Otsubo, Reverend Mitsuaki Otsubo, Reverend Koki Shimizu, Reverend Aiko Oba, Reverend Masanori Oba. We offer our hearts of appreciation to the spirits honored at the altar of the deceased at the San Diego Church, Seattle Church, Fresno Church, San Jose Church, Gardena Church, Lancaster Church, and Los Angeles Church. Hideshima family, Otsubo family, Yuasa family, Ishiwata family, Yamada family, Okazaki family, Kandori family, Tsuki family, Fujimoto family, Nishi family, Goto family, Takeda family, Niyama family, Umemoto family, Uzunoe family, Yukawa family, Ota family. Mrs. Yasoji Hideshima, Reverend Mikimatsu Hideshima and Reverend Mumeo Hideshima, Mr. Akira Hideshima, Mr. Harold Aloysius Ryan, Miss Michiko Kren, Reverend Bunjiro Hirayama, Reverend Haruko Ishiwata, Reverend Toshitsugu and Mrs. Toro no Kandori, Mrs. Sarai Kandori, Mr. Ken Saburo Kandori, Reverend Hiromichi Kimura, Reverend Fumi Niyama, Miss May Niyama, Reverend Kotaro Nishi, Mr. Kotaro Nishi Jr., Reverend Kamekichi Otsubo, Reverend Taichi and Mrs. Yoshie Tsuki, Reverend Isao and Tomoyo Goto, Reverend Kazuo Suzukawa, Mrs. Geiko Suzukawa, Reverend Sadako and Jiro Takeda, Reverend Asataro Yamada, Reverend Yasukichi Yasumura, Reverend Kisa Yuasa, Reverend Norikazu Yukawa, Arroyo family, Ayabe family, Mrs. Fusako Ayabe, Voyageur family, Saint Teresa of Calcutta, Brown family, Fujita family, Yasuhara family, Mr. Minoru Fujita, Fujiwara family, Ginsburg family, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Hamada family, Hamasaki family, Mrs. Harue Hamasaki, Hirota family, Mr. Tadashi Hirota, Hoshino family, Mr. James Hoshino, Hughes family, Ikari family, Imano family, Inoue family, Miss Tamae Inoue, Miss Emiko Inoue, Kaneshiga family, Kanno family, Karakawa family, Nakano family, Kawahara family, Kawata family, Mr. Sam Saburo Kawata, and Mrs. Edna Yukie Kawata, Kayono family, Hosugi family, Kuida family, Lang family, Mr. Tomio Lang, Matsui family, Mr. Tetsuo Matsui, Miyagawa family, Diaz family, Mr. Kyoshi Miyagawa, Madam Mitsuhiro Bando, Mrs. Norma Haruko Diaz, Mr. Bill Hideo Miyagawa, Mr. Richard Kazuo Miyagawa, Miyai family, Dr. Katsumi Miyai, Miyake family, Yoshiko Kei Kawata, Morio family, Ms. Megumi Morio, Urashige family, Nagatoshi family, Nagatsu family, Nakayama family, Mr. Jiro Nakayama, Mrs. Harue Nakayama, Unduna family, Mr. Eric Unduna, Niyama family, Miss Mei Niyama, Miss Fujie Niyama, Miss Haruko Niyama, Miss Noriko Niyama, Nishida family, Mr. Roy Nishida, Oka family, Mrs. Peggy Oka, Okazaki family, Mr. Tomomichi Okazaki, Mrs. Namino Okazaki, Mr. Masato Matt Okazaki, Mrs. Sanae Okazaki, Oomura family, Moriwaki family, and Yasutake family, Sueo Oomura, Chie Oomura, Kakutaro Oomura, Eikichi Oomura, Nobu Oomura, Tsugio Oomura, Reverend Mitsuko Yasutake, Reverend Mitsumasa Yasutake, Ono family, Saiki family, Seki family, Spencer family, Diana, Princess of Wales, Sugimoto family, Tagabi family, Tambara family, Sumiyuki Tambara, Tanaka family, Tepnappa family, Umemoto family, Mr. Henry Hank Umemoto, Miss Keiko Umemoto, Urata family, Mr. Bert and Mrs. Edith Urata, Wata family, Yamaguchi family, Yamaguma family, Yamamoto family, Mr. George Yamamoto, Yamauchi family, Haru Yamauchi, Shinzo Yamauchi, Mike Yamauchi, Hyobi Yamauchi, Misaya Yamauchi, Yasuda family, James Seishiro Yasuda. To the revered spirits of all related people, and to all the Mitama spirits who are seeking guidance, those who are missing, and victims of natural and human-made disasters, wars, accidents, terrorist attacks, crime, illnesses, and diseases, and other tragic events that have happened and are happening in the world. We have gathered here with the deepest of reverence on this beautiful spring day in observance of the annual spring memorial ceremony to remember, honor, and pray for those whom I name today, as you are all the foundation and support of our blessed lives. To the Mikama spirits of all Konkokyo ministers and your families, we would like to thank you for your devotion as a foundation of the Konko faith, as well as continuously supporting us here today and every day as Mikama spirits. Your virtue shines ever so brightly in our daily lives. To the Mikama spirits of the ministers of the Konko churches of North America, we acknowledge the many accomplishments as well as difficulties you have encountered and persevered throughout your endeavor in spreading the Konko faith in KCNA, while clinging to Tenchi Kano Kami's love. Through your dedication and consecrated work of Torii-Tsugi, we have been blessed in all aspects of our lives and assure us of our blessedness as we enter into the spiritual after passing. Please continue to guide us so that we can follow the wishes of Tenchi Kanokami. To the Mitama spirits of the church believers, family members, friends, and offered names today, we are very grateful to you for your dedication in your pursuit of the Konko faith, as well as your perseverance and devotion to your family and community. We cannot help but to thank you for your love and life. As you transformed into spiritual beings, you continue to protect and guide your loved ones. But sadly, sometimes we're unable to recognize the blessings and beauty in our lives. Thus, we apologize for that. However, we take this opportunity to extend our wholehearted appreciation for your contribution in our blessed lives. We now enjoy and pray you continue to guide us to keep positivity and light in our lives. You receive many blessings, favors, and interventions from Tenchi Kanokami with your physical form, and are receiving them as Mitama no Kami. The lives given by Tenchi Kanokami-sama have continued from you to us and to the next generation like a mighty river. We respect and revere those lives, ourselves and our descendants through this service. Gonko Daiji imparted. Practice faith. Receive divine blessings by practicing faith. Then not only you, but also your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and even further generations can receive divine blessings. Even the spirits of your ancestors will be able to rest in peace because you receive divine blessings through your practice of faith. The favors that you have received stay with you forever. Therefore, you should build as large a foundation of favor and blessings as possible during your lifetime. Let us keep this teaching close to our hearts so that we can continue to practice faith for ourselves, our ancestors, and for future generations to come. We would like to express our gratitude to you, the Mitama no Kami. You are always looking over and guiding us. Thus, your workings are revealed to all of us daily. As we walk with you in life and communicate with you through prayer, we nurture the mutual relationship, that special and divine bond between us. Mahalo. We pray that bond continues to grow and shine ever so brightly. We reverently acknowledge that through the love and virtue of Ikami Konko Daijin-sama, Tenchi Kanokami-sama, and all the Mitama spirits, that we are allowed to live and enjoy our blessed lives. And we are grateful. This morning, we would like to remember and honor those who passed away in the month of March. Reverend Juntaro Nakabayashi, Reverend Yoshino Nakabayashi, Reverend Isao Goto, Reverend Tomoyo Goto, Ms. Harue Hamasaki, Ms. Tamae Fujii, Mr. Hiroshi Suginami, Mr. Hideo Maeda, Mr. Tsuyoshi Yoshimura, Mrs. Edith Urata, Shin Ai Magokoro Otoji no Mitama no Kami, Yamamoto Zenkichi Umashi, Masayoshi Hiko no Mitama no Kami, Oda Take no Toji no Mitama no Kami, and Leslie Norman no Mitama no Kami. Thank you for continuing to watch and guide, thank you for continuing to watch, guide, and protect your descendants. Dear pioneers and natives who are the foundation and strength of California and the United States of America, we acknowledge you and the hardships you endured in order to survive and create a future for the generations to come. We honor and admire your courage and determination and pray that your descendants will continue to rise up and bring pride not only to you, but your respective nations. We pray for the deceased Mitama spirits who are seeking salvation, to whom nobody prays for, and to those who have experienced sufferings from wars, accidents, crime, terrorism, natural disasters, illnesses, and diseases for their tachiyuki or eternal peace and happiness with Tenchi Kanokami's love, blessings, intercessions, and favors. Please enter the bosom of our parent Kami, see Konko Daijin's Toritsugi, and find salvation and joy. To the beloved spirits of our ancestors and believers, as well as all the Mitama spirits, please accept the offerings placed before you today, as well as the tamakushi as an expression of our everlasting gratitude and prayer for your workings, light, virtue, and tachi. Dear Mitama no Kami-sama, please continue to protect, guide, and enrich not just us, but also your descendants, other family members, and friends. Guide your descendants to the Hiromai for Toritsugi and healing, a renewal or a birth of faith. We continue to pray that you will practice faith with us daily so that our aura and light can continue to shine ever so brightly. 今し御霊の神立ち橋。神根高大事言取り次の御影こうもり。我が道の尊き御霊の神。信奉者楽式御霊の神と勘たたしめたまい。乱儀に出会いし。すべての人々の上に。安心、立ち行きの大御影こうむらしめたまい。我が根高教、北米教記。ウィッタルをする教会を守り導きたまい。神人愛用かけよの生活運動を進め。神と人と愛用かけよで立ち行くあり方を使用権限する。そのご神願成就を役に立たしめたまうべく。たがながらに、勘取り次ぎ、勘導きたまえと、かしこみかしこみも申す。Now, please raise your heads. At this time, we'll have the congregation offer tamagoshi, but first, we would like to have tamagoshi offered on behalf of, although they cannot be here today, but on behalf of Reverends Kyoshiwa Kyoigawa, I'd like to ask both Avalon and James to please offer tamagoshi on behalf of the two of them, since they cannot be here today. You can be Makiko Sensei. You can be Kyoshi Sensei. And now we'll ask them to offer on behalf of themselves. And for those of you in, hi Miko. So on behalf of all of you, oh, you can't even see my face, huh? So on behalf of all of you, I'm going to have Avalon offer the tamagoshi on behalf of all of you. Please open your prayer books to page 14 for the ancestral prayer. Dear Mikama spirits, everlasting and integral part of the divine parent of the universe, we pray that the Mikama of our ancestors and family, as well as the Mikama of all people, are at eternal peace and happiness. To you who have gone before us, we give thanks wholeheartedly for paving the way through hardships and self-sacrifice, in order that we, who are here today, have received all the benefits of your endeavors. To you, our ancestral spirits, we gratefully acknowledge the protection and guidance which you have bestowed upon us. We pray that you continue to protect and guide us throughout our daily lives. We pray that we will realize and develop your divine virtue this and every day. I'm so sorry you have to look at my butt. I didn't mean for that to happen. So before we end today's service, I wanted to honor someone, James's grandfather, who recently passed away. And so at this time, I'm going to have James offer a flower to his, both James and Ella offer a tamakshi to his grandfather. And I know if Iawa Sensei were here, they would want to also offer tamagoshi. So I'm going to have Avalon offer on behalf of Reverend Kyoshiwa Kikoiga. Please open your prayer books to page, to page 19, please, for the newly departed soul prayer. Spirit of the newly departed, we love you now and forever. Fond memories of you fill our hearts. We shall miss your physical presence, yet you will remain in our hearts forever. We pray for your eternal happiness. We sincerely pray with heart and soul. As a beloved child of Kami, you were given the gift of life and sought to live it fully each and every day. But to leave your physical form, please listen to our prayers. Whether in your physical or spiritual form, the universe is your eternal home. May you always be blessed with a peaceful heart. Know that you are always embraced by Kami's love. Chido Haide, 4 sincere claps. Oh, that wasn't too bad, huh? I expected to go a full hour and a half with this service, but I guess my church is the one that's really bad with the hour and a half. But good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really grateful that you're able to attend today's service. You know, this service, as I mentioned at the beginning, I think any Hongo churches you go to, compared to our grand ceremonies, which should have a lot of people attending it, this is the one that has the most attendees. And of course, it makes sense because we have an attachment we miss our loved ones. We love our loved ones, and it's an opportunity for us to think about them a great deal. So, today, Reverend Watsuigawa, one of the things that she often talked about is honoring our ancestors. And it's something that, if you're in the Igawa family, you know this to be a fact, that this is something, especially if you're Miko, Kaz, or Kyoshi, you know for a fact that this is a part of your whole family. And it was so interesting that yesterday I will know better. I have no clue how many hours kind of combing through the paperwork and trying to organize the names and then figuring out, wait, something's missing here and there, something's missing here and there. And there's a reason for that, because Watsuo Sensei is very strict about these things. For her, this is someone's family member. This is someone she respects, or this is someone who did something of great service to her or her family or her children. And she always, as a constant reminder to me, she always would tell me to revere the Mikawa spirits, to honor my family members, and to honor them, especially when they were alive, to do your best. And if you weren't able to do that, and in passing, never to forget about them. And she always made it so easy. She made it so easy by saying, all you have to do is say, morning. That's funny. If this was Kyoshi Sensei, Kyoshi Sensei, just smile, hi. He would be so quick about it. Wakio Sensei would always say, it's so easy to honor our ancestors. In the morning, we say good morning. We offer them a cup of water, and there you go. Here's your start. There's nothing hard about it. It just takes a couple of seconds. And can you imagine every time you say that? I think about what Wakio Sensei said. And I think about people who live in old folks' homes. I think how many people are not visited by their family members, and when someone does come and visit, how they cherish that time. And every month I follow what Watsuo Sensei, Kyoshi Sensei will do, and they visit all the graves. So I visit all the graves of my members, and the graves that I visit are huge, not as big as Rose Hills, but they're pretty huge. And I hardly see anyone ever there And I always imagine, I always imagine, gosh, how lonely and sad that must be that no one comes by, or maybe they just remember their ancestors, during Memorial Day or Valentine's Day. And yet, one of the graves that I go to, there's a lot of Latino people buried at this grave. I think the Latino people are great. Let me tell you. Let me tell you why. Because they're always having a party at the graves. Like they have these, they encircle the grave with pinwheels, and they're having a picnic right there. I love it that they have this sense of respect and admiration and love for those who have passed on. And I know Wakiko Sensei has that passion and truly believes that. And as well as all of her children, and even for myself, that's something that I believe in. Especially since they're truly our foundation. For without one person, we would not be here. Without my aunt, I would not be here because my parents would probably have been divorced. Without Wakiko Sensei, there would be nothing here. There would be no Avalon. There would be no Dennis. There would be no Kaz. There would be no Miko. There would be no Richard. There would be no place for people to come and find respite and care and solitude. I think that's where I want it. And so, we have to always, this is such a wonderful time to reflect with every name that was called. It's hard for me because I can't reflect on names because I have to read the names. I'd love to be able to do that. But I remember back home in Hawaii when Reverend Koichi Kongo would read off the names. I go, oh, I remember her. And I would keep counting, oh shoot, I missed that person, but I remember that person. I missed a bunch of people, but wait, I remember this person. I would be able to recall or remember. And one of the names that I love to talk about this woman, her name is Mrs. Yamaguchi. I loved her to death. I didn't have much of we just talked, and she was the funniest. She had to be shorter than, maybe she's like 4'2", 4'3", this short woman. And she, so kind, and she sang badly. But I loved her because when she sang with all of her heart. And I would always remember that name. When I hear her name, I always have a tear for her because I remember just how much passion and joy, even though she didn't sing very well, that brought all of us so much joy because she was so passionate about it, and she just loved life. And that's the one thing I always remember doing. Once we get to her name, Mrs. Yamaguchi, I'm like, oh. And then I always have that tear just for her. You'd think I had more tears for my family members, but really the tear comes from Mrs. Yamaguchi. And this is why I think these services are so important. And it's not just, and we're fortunate because we do it every day. At my church, every morning, I have a list of all these Mitama spirits that I call out. That with the names of the believers and head ministers. These are names that I call out. They're always a part of us. And even if people leave, that's the most wonderful thing I think about Konkokyo. Even when people leave a church or leave their religion, their ancestors continue to be worshipped and honored, not worshipped, but more honored and respected at our church. And so, regardless of, there's a whole bunch of people I don't know in that list. I just organized the list. Some people I know, some people I don't know. But these are people that Reverend Kyoshi and Wakiko Igawa have admired, taken care of, and they will continue to be honored and respected here at this church. As long as this church is here, they will always, always have a home here. And they shall never, ever be forgotten. So with that, I asked all of you to please, take time today to remember someone who passed away. Someone you love, someone who cared about you. It could be a former boss, could be a friend, former colleague, a family member, and just give them a thought. Give them a thought and just say thank you. Just give them that thought. I wouldn't doubt that. And please be aware of the workings of our ancestors or those who passed away. Believe me, I have to be reminded on a constant basis about this. And believe me, and I think anyone who's a Igawa with the name, who came from an Igawa family, you have already experienced these things. You know about these things. You know that these things do happen. And I am constantly in awe because the same things continue to happen. So with that, I'd like to end today's service. Thank you all for attending. I think that's Miko. Thank you, Miko, for attending. And we shall see you next month. And just FYI, we're moving the Godaisai from May to June. I forgot which date I set it on, but it's going to be on a Saturday because it's the weekend of Father's Day. So we're moving it to a Saturday so that people can have their Father's Day with their fathers. But it'll be moved to June only because it kind of hits with all these other things for me. And I'm not able to get up here in May for May. I think it was set for May 2nd. So I'm not able to get up here on May 2nd for the service. So I apologize to all of you. But I look forward to seeing all of you in April, in May, and then at Godaisai in June. Have a great day, and we'll see you next month.